how to forgive and let go of hurt. My beloved child, I see the pain in your heart. I know the wounds you carry, the weight of betrayal, the scars left by those who have wronged you. I hear the silent cries you never let escape your lips. But I tell you now, come to me, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11 verse 28. Let me lift this burden from your soul. You have held on to this pain for so long, haven't you? The anger, the bitterness, the hurt, it has settled deep within you, growing roots that have wrapped around your heart. But I did not create you to live imprisoned by past wounds. I made you to walk in freedom, and the key to that freedom is forgiveness. I know what you were thinking, but Lord, they hurt me. They broke me. They don't deserve my forgiveness. My child, listen to me, forgiveness is not about them. It is about you. It is about breaking the chains that have kept you bound. It is about releasing yourself from the grip of pain. I'm not asking you to pretend it never happened. I'm not telling you that what they did was right. No, justice belongs to me. Romans 12 verse 19. I will deal with every wrong, for I am a righteous judge. But I do not want you to live in the prison of resentment. When you hold on to unforgiveness, it is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. But it is you, my beloved, who is suffering. Let it go. Yes, I know it is hard. I know that some wounds cut so deep that even time has not healed them. But I am not asking you to do this alone. I am here. My grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. I will help you. Let me take your pain, place it in my hands. Trust me with your brokenness. Do you remember my son, Jesus? He was beaten, mocked, betrayed by the very ones he loved. As he hung on the cross, bloodied and bruised, he looked at those who had crucified him and said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Luke 23 verse 34. If he, the sinless one, could forgive those who nailed him to the cross, then surely, my child, I will give you the strength to forgive those who have hurt you. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It is a choice. You may not feel like forgiving, but when you decide to obey me and let go, I will change your heart. I will soften the places that have grown hard. I will pour my love into the spaces where bitterness once lived. Do you trust me? I know you are afraid. You fear that if you forgive, it means what they did was okay. But listen to me. Forgiveness is not approval. It is release. It is choosing to no longer let their actions control your emotions, your peace, your joy. It is handing over the pain to me and saying, Lord, I trust you to handle this. And I will. I see the tears you have cried. I have collected every single one. Psalm 56 verse 8. Not a single moment of your suffering has been ignored by me. I know the nights you have laid awake, replaying the words that cut deep, the actions that left scars. But my child, it is time to heal. I have a future for you, one filled with hope. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. But you cannot walk into that future while carrying the weight of past hurts. You must leave them behind. Take my hand and walk with me. Let me lead you to peace. You may wonder, but how do I forgive, Lord? How do I let go? Start by praying, not just for yourself, but for the one who hurt you. I know this seems impossible, but I tell you, pray for them, even if it is through gritted teeth, even if all you can say is, Lord, bless them. Each time you pray, your heart will soften a little more. Each time you release them to me, the weight will grow lighter. You are not weak for forgiving. No, my child, forgiveness takes great strength. The world teaches you to hold on to anger, to seek revenge, to wish for their downfall. But I teach you a better way. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hurt you. Pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5, verse 44. This is the path to true freedom. I know that some of the people who have hurt you will never apologize. They may never acknowledge the pain they caused. But do not let that stop you from forgiving. You do not forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because I have forgiven you. Do you remember how many times you have failed me? How many times you have sinned, and yet I welcomed you back with open arms. My mercy has no limit. My grace is endless. If I, the holy and righteous God, can forgive you, then surely, my child, you can extend that same grace to others. I am not telling you that reconciliation is always possible. Some relationships may need distance. Some people are not safe to be close to. But even from afar, you can release them from your heart. You can choose to no longer let their actions dictate your peace. Let go. I want you to walk in joy again. I want you to experience the fullness of life that I have planned for you. But unforgiveness is a heavy burden, and it is slowing you down. Lay it at my feet. I will carry it for you. And when the enemy whispers, they don't deserve your forgiveness, remind him that you didn't deserve mine either, but I gave it freely. When the pain resurfaces, come to me. Let me remind you of who you are. You are not a victim. You are victorious. You are not bound by the past. You are free in me. I am your healer. Psalm 147, verse 3. I am your refuge. Psalm 46, verse 1. I am your strength. Isaiah 41, verse 10. And I am calling you to step into something greater. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does change your future. So, my beloved, will you trust me? Will you let go? Take my hand, walk into freedom, forgive, and watch as I heal your heart. I love you always. My child, I see you hesitating. You are standing at the edge of a decision that feels impossible. Your heart is wrestling with the weight of what was done to you, and the pain feels too heavy to release. I understand. I know every detail of your hurt. I know every time your heart broke, every time you felt abandoned, rejected, betrayed. And yet, I am still calling you to let go, to trust me, to forgive. I'm not asking you to forget. I know that some wounds are too deep to simply erase from your memory. But I am asking you to stop letting the past control your future. I want you to walk in peace, not in the shadows of what once was. You were not meant to live in the prison of pain. Let me remind you of something, my beloved. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the greatest act of strength. The world teaches you to hold grudges, to demand revenge, to wish suffering upon those who have harmed you. But I teach you a better way. My way leads to life. My way leads to peace. My way leads to freedom. Do you trust me? I have never failed you. I have never abandoned you. I have never left your side, not even for a moment. When they hurt you, I was there. When you cried, I saw every tear. When you were too weak to stand, I held you up, and even now, I am holding you. But you must make a choice. You can continue to carry the burden of resentment, allowing it to weigh down your soul, making your heart heavy with anger, bitterness, and sorrow. Or you can release it into my hands and let me heal you. I want to heal you. I know you are afraid. You fear that if you forgive, it means you are saying what they did was acceptable. But forgiveness does not excuse their actions. It sets you free. Free from bitterness, free from torment, free from the cycle of pain that keeps you trapped. I want you to imagine something, my child. Imagine a bird caught in a snare, its wings tangled, unable to fly. That bird is you when you refuse to forgive. But when you choose to let go, when you say, Lord, I give this hurt to you, the snare is broken, and you are free. I created you to soar, not to be held down by chains of resentment. So forgive. Forgive the friend who betrayed you. Forgive the parent who abandoned you. Forgive the partner who broke your trust. Forgive the person who spoke words that wounded you deeply. Forgive the one who never apologized, who never acknowledged the pain they caused. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I have forgiven you. Do you remember when you came to me, broken by your own sins? Do you remember the times you failed, the times you walked away from me, the times you did things you knew were wrong? And yet every time, I welcomed you back. I washed you clean. I forgave you completely. Now, my child, I ask you to do the same. It may not happen all at once. Some wounds take time to heal. But take the first step today. Say the words, Lord, I choose to forgive. Even if your heart resists, even if your emotions scream otherwise, say it in faith. And I will meet you there. I will begin the work of softening your heart. I will pour my love into you, replacing bitterness with peace, anger with joy, pain with healing. And when the memories come back to haunt you, when the enemy whispers, they don't deserve forgiveness, come to me. Let me remind you of the truth. I'm your defender. I am your avenger. I will deal with every wrong done against you. But your job, my beloved, is to let go and trust me. Look at my son. Jesus bore the weight of every sin, every betrayal, every act of cruelty. He was despised, rejected, falsely accused, beaten, and nailed to a cross. And yet, with his dying breath, he chose to forgive. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Luke 23, verse 34. He was not weak. He was not powerless. He was stronger than any force in heaven or on earth. And yet, he chose love. He chose mercy. He chose to release the ones who harmed him. That same strength is within you, my child, because I live in you. I have called you to a higher way of living. I have called you to love, even when it's difficult. I have called you to peace, even when the world tells you to hold on to hate. You are mine, and I have great plans for you. But you cannot move forward if you're holding on to the past. Let it go. If you trust me, I will restore you. I will take the pain and turn it into power. I will take the sorrow and turn it into joy. I will take the brokenness and make it beautiful, because that is who I am. I am the God who makes all things new. Revelation 21, verse 5. I am the God who turns mourning into dancing. Psalm 30, verse 11. I am the God who binds up the brokenhearted. Isaiah 61, verse 1. My precious child, I see you struggling. I see the war within your heart, the desire to obey me, yet the pain that makes you hesitate. You have carried this burden for so long that it feels like a part of you. But, my child, you were never meant to carry this weight. You were never meant to live imprisoned by past wounds. I know the pain feels familiar. I know that bitterness whispers lies to you, telling you that holding on will somehow protect you from being hurt again. But that is not true, my beloved. Holding on does not shield you. It chains you. And I have come to set you free. John 8, verse 36. I am your healer. I am the one who restores. But I cannot heal what you refuse to release. Give it to me. Yes, I know how much they hurt you. I know how deep the wound is. But I also know something greater. I am bigger than your pain. I am stronger than your past. I am able to redeem even the most broken places in your heart. Will you trust me? You may feel like you cannot do this, like forgiveness is beyond your ability. But that is why I am here. You are not alone in this. I will give you the strength you need. I will fill you with my peace. I will walk with you every step of the way. Remember my servant, Joseph? His own brothers betrayed him, selling him into slavery. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison. Years of suffering, of injustice, of waiting. And yet, when he finally stood before his brothers, the very ones who caused his pain, he did not seek revenge. He did not hold on to bitterness. Instead, he said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 50 verse 20. My child, do you see? Even in the worst of betrayals, I was working. Even in suffering, I had a plan. And I have a plan for you. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not your pain, not your tears, not your brokenness. I am the God who turns what was meant for evil into something beautiful. But first you must release it. Let go of the anger. Let go of the resentment. Let go of the desire to see them suffer. That is not your burden to carry. Vengeance is mine, and I will repay. Romans 12 verse 19. Trust me to bring justice in my way and in my time. Your part is to forgive, to walk in freedom, to trust that I am working even when you cannot see it. And my child, forgiveness does not mean you must return to those who hurt you. Some people are not safe. Some relationships must remain distant. But even from afar, you can release them from your heart. You can choose to no longer let their actions control your emotions. I want you to picture something, my beloved. Imagine standing in a dark room, gripping a heavy chain. This chain represents your unforgiveness, your pain, your anger. It feels like power, like control, but in reality, it is only weighing you down. Now imagine opening your hands. Imagine dropping the chain. That is what I want for you. You were made for light, not darkness. For peace, not torment. For freedom, not bondage. My son, Jesus, gave his life so that you could be free. Not just from sin, but from the burdens that steal your joy. He took your pain upon himself. He carried your sorrows. And because of him, you can walk in the fullness of life. Isaiah 53 verses 4 to 5. But you must choose. I will never force you. I will never take what you do not surrender. But oh, my child, how I long to see you free. How I long to see you walk in the joy and peace that is already yours in me. So, come to me. Lay it down. Whisper the words, Lord, I forgive. It may not feel natural at first. It may take time, but each time you release it to me, the weight will lift. Each time you choose love over resentment, your heart will heal a little more. And one day, you will wake up and realize the pain no longer controls you. You are free. You are healed. You are whole because you trusted me. And my child, this is just the beginning. I have so much more for you. I have joy unspeakable. 1 Peter 1 verse 8. I have peace that surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4 verse 7. I have new beginnings, fresh hope, and a future beyond anything you can imagine. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. Do not let unforgiveness keep you from my best. Take my hand, walk forward, forgive, and watch as I do what only I can do. Make all things new. Revelation 21 verse 5. I love you, my child, and I always will. My beloved child, do you feel that? That stirring in your heart, that whisper deep within, calling you to let go? That is my spirit, moving within you, guiding you toward freedom. I know this is not easy. I know the pain has been part of you for so long that it feels like letting go means losing a part of yourself. But, my child, the pain is not who you are. The hurt is not your identity. You are mine. You are loved. You are chosen. And I did not create you to live bound by the past. Do you know what happens when you release the weight of unforgiveness? You make room for something greater. You make room for joy. You make room for peace, for love, for the fullness of life that I have promised you. I want you to picture your heart as a vessel. Right now, it is filled with pain, resentment, and anger. But I long to fill it with something new. I long to pour my love, my healing, my presence into every broken place. But my child, I cannot fill what is already full. You must empty yourself of bitterness so that I can fill you with my peace. Will you let me? I see how you have suffered. I see how the enemy has tried to use this pain to keep you from your destiny. But he will not win. He has no power over you. He has whispered lies, telling you that forgiving means surrendering your power. But the truth is this: forgiveness is your victory. When you forgive, you are not weak. You are stronger than ever before. You are declaring that the enemy has no hold on your heart. You are choosing me over bitterness, peace over chaos, freedom over chains. And my child, let me tell you something else. I have seen your secret battles. I have seen how you have tried to move forward, but the past keeps pulling you back. But today, I am breaking those chains. Today, I am lifting you up and setting you free. You will not be bound by this any longer. The enemy wants you to believe that you will always be defined by your pain. But I tell you this: I am writing a new story over your life. Your testimony will not be one of bitterness, but of redemption. Your future will not be one of sorrow, but of joy. Your heart will not remain broken, but will be made whole. You are stepping into something new. I have already gone before you. I have already prepared the way. You only need to trust me. So, take the first step. Say it out loud. Lord, I forgive. Say it again, even if your heart hesitates, even if your emotions resist. Speak it in faith, because faith is not about what you feel. It is about what you believe. And I promise you, my child, healing is coming. Your joy is being restored. Your heart is being made whole. And when you look back on this moment, you will see it as the day you were set free. So, walk forward. Do not let the past hold you back any longer. I am with you. I have always been with you, and I will never leave you. I love you, my child. I always have, and I always will. Do you know what happens in heaven when you choose to forgive? All of heaven rejoices. The angels celebrate because they see what you do not yet see. They see the weight lifting off your soul, the chains breaking, the healing beginning. I see it too. I see you standing at the threshold of freedom, trembling, unsure if you can take the step. But my child, you are not alone. I am with you. I have always been with you. From the moment you took your first breath, I have watched over you. Through every trial, through every heartbreak, through every sleepless night when you cried out in pain, I was there. And now, I am still here, gently calling you forward, calling you into newness, into peace, into joy. Do you trust me? I know what the enemy has whispered to you. He has told you that forgiveness is impossible, that you are too wounded, that the hurt is too deep. But I am here to tell you the enemy is a liar. John 8 verse 44. He wants to keep you trapped in bitterness because he knows that once you forgive, you will step into a level of strength and peace that he cannot touch. You are stronger than you know. You have my spirit within you. The same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead, Romans 8 verse 11. That power lives in you, and it is greater than any pain, greater than any betrayal, greater than any wound. I have given you authority over the enemy. Luke 10 verse 19. When you forgive, you are not just setting yourself free. You are declaring war on the lies of the enemy. You are taking back everything he tried to steal from you. Your joy, your peace, your destiny, they belong to you. But, my child, you must release the past to embrace your future. Do you remember my servant Job? The enemy took everything from him, his family, his health, his wealth. He suffered more than most could bear. But do you know when I restored him? When he prayed for those who hurt him. Yes, my child, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Job 42 verse 10. When Job forgave, he stepped into a double portion of blessing. And I desire the same for you. I want to restore you. I want to give you beauty for ashes. Isaiah 61 verse 3. I want to fill your heart with laughter again. I want to take the very thing the enemy meant for evil and turn it into your greatest testimony. Genesis 50 verse 20. But you must take the step. You must choose. I will not force you. I am not a God who controls. I am a God who loves. And because I love you, I give you the power to decide. So, my child, what will you choose? Will you hold on to the pain, allowing it to define you? Or will you open your hands, release it to me, and step into the life I have prepared for you? I know it is not easy. I know the scars remain. But let me remind you of something. Even my son, Jesus, kept his scars. After he rose from the dead, he still bore the marks of the nails in his hands and feet. Why? Because his scars became a testimony of victory. Your scars will not be your shame, my child. They will be your story, a story of redemption, a story of grace, a story of healing. And one day, you will stand before others, strong, whole, filled with my peace, and you will say, I was broken, but God healed me. I was lost in bitterness, but God set me free. I thought I could never forgive, but God gave me the strength. And through your testimony, others will find healing too. So, take my hand, let go, forgive, and step into the life I have always planned for you. I love you, my child, and I always will. My precious child, I feel the weight of your heart, the trembling of your soul, the battle between pain and surrender. I see you standing in the middle of the storm, torn between holding on and letting go. But I tell you this, your breakthrough is near. Every tear you have cried, I have counted. Psalm 56 verse 8. Every sleepless night, I have watched over you. Every time you whispered, God, I can't do this, I was there, whispering back, yes, you can, because I am with you. I have not forgotten you. I have not turned away from your suffering. I have been walking with you, even when you could not feel me. And now, I am leading you into something greater, into healing, into restoration, into freedom. But my child, you must release the past. You must let go of what they did to you. You must let go of the words that wounded you, the betrayal that shattered you, the injustice that tried to define you. I know it's not fair. I know you long for an apology, for acknowledgement, for justice. But I tell you this, I am your justice. I am your defender. I am the one who will right every wrong. Vengeance belongs to me. Romans 12 verse 19. Not to you. You were never meant to carry the burden of revenge, of resentment, of waiting for them to see how much they hurt you. That burden is too heavy for you. Give it to me. Will you trust me? Will you trust that I see all things? That nothing escapes my sight? That I will deal with every injustice in my perfect way and in my perfect time? You do not have to hold on to this any longer. I know you fear that forgiving means they go unpunished. But listen to me, my beloved. Forgiveness does not release them. It releases you. It releases you from the cycle of pain. It releases you from the prison of bitterness. It releases you from the past so that you can step into the future I have for you. And oh, my child, what a future it is, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Your future is not in your past. Your future is in me, and I have so much in store for you, so much joy, so much peace, so much love that you have yet to experience. But you cannot receive the new if you are still clinging to the old. Let it go. Forgiveness is not a one-time event. It is a choice you will have to make daily. Every time the enemy tries to remind you of the pain, every time the memories resurface, every time bitterness tries to creep back in, you will have to say, no, I have given this to God. I am free, and I promise you, my child, each time you choose forgiveness, the pain will lose its power. The wound will close a little more. The weight will lift a little higher, until one day you wake up and realize you are healed. The pain that once consumed you no longer has control over you. The name that once caused your heart to race in anger no longer affects you. The memories that once held you hostage have lost their grip, because you are no longer a prisoner to the past. You are free. And when that day comes, my child, you will look back and see that every step of this journey was worth it. You will see how I was working in you, refining you, molding you into someone stronger, wiser, more filled with my love than ever before. And you will know it was never about them. It was always about you, your healing, your peace, your destiny. So today, my beloved, choose freedom, choose life, choose me, and watch as I turn your pain into power, your wounds into wisdom, your story into a testimony that will set others free. Because this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning. I love you, my child, and I always will.